Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host for tonight's event, Lindsay Knight.
That's okay. Danse. Kita damskat nawao. I am Lindsay Knight, and I am so excited to be your host. It's nice to see so many beautiful faces. We're going to have a really amazing night. But before we get started, I want to offer our elder Elizabeth Ahenakew some tobacco to do our opening blessing.
Good evening. It is such an honor to be able to do this for you for such a wonderful event. I'm happy to be here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pray, and part of my prayer is going to include thanking the Creator, God, whatever you choose to call Him, for keeping us safe from this COVID that's still lurking around, unfortunately. So Kokum is going to pray now. I work at Edithian part-time on the Kokum there, and for Gordon Tutus's Nigawan Theatre for the Circle of Voices. This will be my 5th year. So I'm familiar with productions and all the fun stuff. So thank you. I am going to pray in my language. Mamo tawi maok se manto kiskisko kayan kiaisko mapiko ki koi kat peitaman kiaisko mapiko ki koi kak skeitaman nena naskmon miukiskawe peitsa hamau ya mi tipskawe kisitaya nena naskmon ka kiau moi katawa kuya kuma mekwats aksuin kai mahka pampai sitos kaunan ka kamemuya ka kisimuya kana naskomoya Kaki ko itse heto yahka, sitos kato yahka, sake heto yahka. Eksoma kaisi pakseimu yan mamau tawi mau. Hi. Thank you.
Hi. I want to acknowledge that we're on Treaty 6 territory, which happens to be my homelands, and also that we are on the traditional territory of the Cree, Saulteaux, Nakota, Dakota, Lakota, Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis. I would now like to welcome His Honor to bring greetings on behalf of the Crown.
Well, good evening, distinguished guests, nominees, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, tansi nuako marantigwin to timitik. Kita tamaskat na rakidar kapin tohtamagi iganots kotausik. Good evening and welcome to everybody that's come here to listen this evening. Pitamanui nanasko mawagitia anotsoma kaikisimut. First, I want to acknowledge and thank the elder for the prayer that she gave. So Donna and I are very delighted to join you here after a couple-year absence, of course. Like everybody else, we've had to adjust our work, but life goes on, and it's sure nice to be back with you here in person. And it certainly, we appreciate the invitation from Sask Arts to join you and for me to present the Lifetime Achievement Award later this evening. I'm extremely fortunate to be surrounded in my home in L'Orange, or we are, by beautiful artwork created by Northern artists, including remarkable paintings, beadwork, antler carvings, birch bark bitings. Just really makes a home feel so nice and warm when you can see the full house full of artwork, but also just the feeling of artists being able to produce work and share it with others like us. Similarly, my offices in Government House in Regina are covered in vibrant paintings, sculptures, and textiles created by gifted artists from around the province. I really do appreciate the pleasure that art brings to all our lives. Our province has been through trying times for the last couple of years. Art, both through its creation and its appreciation, can be healing, a balm for pain and heartbreak. I thank each member of the artistic community here this evening for sharing your creative gifts. I congratulate everyone who has been shortlisted for an award this year. Being nominated for the Saskatchewan Arts Awards indicates the utmost respect of your peers, as well as the gratitude of all who benefit from your work. You have been shortlisted because you enrich our lives, you open hearts and minds to new ways of thinking and feeling. You do make us feel better. Thank you for your generosity of spirit and leadership in your field. I also want to acknowledge all the individuals who have contributed to tonight's presentation for your time and efforts. I know that these events don't go off without volunteers behind the scenes who always do their work, it seems, sight unseen, but we certainly appreciate that. I'm grateful to the board, staff, and all the volunteers for your ongoing work. Thank you for your vital work of championing the arts in Saskatchewan. We need arts and artists. I'm truly grateful that we have had the leadership of Sask Arts for over 7 decades. Our province can be immensely proud of the Saskatchewan Arts Board for continuing to operate as the oldest public arts funder in North America and second oldest in the world. That is a remarkable achievement of supporting, promoting, and celebrating the arts in our province. So in closing, it is customary for the Lieutenant Governor, as a representative of the King, to bring greetings on behalf of His Majesty King Charles III, King of Canada. In the spirit of reconciliation and friendship and of sharing my language of Cree, Woodland Cree, I would like to share these greetings in my first language. Charles Nisto, Canada. Thank you, and I look forward to the rest of the evening.
Hi, Your Honor. Nanaskamun. Feels really nice to hear the Cree up here. Feels like home. And now we can chill. You know, I always have such high respect for the dignitaries and the elders, and I just want to do everything right. And now that we're all set up in a good way, let's party. Just kidding. No, but I just want to say that I'm really excited to be in this role. I've been a part of the Arts Board as one time as an employee, and also as an applicant, as a recipient of grants. So I'm very connected and very close to Sask Arts Board and all the work that they do. So here's just another example. So let's just give them a quick round of applause for putting all of this together. It's so beautiful. And there's one thing, how many people in here are artists? Yeah, I think everybody needs to put up their hands, because even at home, if you're like cooking something nice, that takes artistry, you know, anything that's creative. But there's one thing about artists in our territory, in Saskatchewan and all of our treaty territories, that's kind of challenging and difficult. And I see it here tonight because I can see all of you. It's that we're really exceptionally good looking compared to the rest of Canada. I know, like, it's kind of, it's almost embarrassing. Like, look at you. You're gorgeous. So it's almost like we don't have like it's not really fair, but at the same time, you know, you work with what you got. Look at you. Like, I can't stop looking at you. You're so beautiful. But we're also very talented, right? We can't just get by with our looks. Which makes it really difficult to do this work and to adjudicate all of these talented artists. But also use those good looks wherever you go. That's what we got, Saskatchewan. Let's use it. My other role that I want to mention before we carry on with the schedule is that I'm actually a rapper. I'm a hip-hop artist. Ooh, who wants to battle? So I'm used to, being on stage and doing my rap duties. I've been doing that for a long time. But I also really enjoy, doing MC roles like this. So I'm a hip-hop MC, but I'm also an MC for you guys tonight. But if anyone wants to cipher outside after, holler at me. Let's do this. I'm down. There's enough sugar on those tables to really get into it. So these awards are presented by Sask Arts. And it's an achievement, it's a celebration of achievements of individuals, groups, collectives. And not only are we gorgeous, but we're also we have a vibrant and diverse, like a whole tapestry of artistry, right? Like there's all different types of art, and there's so many beautiful artists and their works. And I mention this because I want us to just sort of look over to stage left and see what the actual awards are. And they're beautiful. And Marie Lanu is the artist. Is Marie in the audience by any chance? No? Well, let's still give a round of applause for Marie. Those are so awesome. They're so epic. I wish I could have one. No. That doesn't work here. Next year. Nobody nominated me, but that's okay. I'm just kidding. That being said, we'd like to thank the nominators because it's the nominators that are the ones that put forward the names. And to be acknowledged by your peers as being someone who deserves an award is an amazing feeling. And to be willing to do that is also, it takes a lot of kindness and compassion. And so all of the nominators, if you're in the crowd, give yourselves a round of applause. It's like the behind the scenes people, right? So tonight's recipients will receive this award, and we're going to get started. But before we do, we're going to welcome to the podium Marv Friesen, who's MLA for Saskatoon, Riversdale, and Legislative Secretary for Parks, Culture, and Sports, to bring greetings on behalf of the Minister, Laura Ross, and present the first award of the night. The Artistic Excellence Award is sponsored by the Ministry of Parks, Culture, and Sports. Marv Friesen.
Well, thank you, and good evening, everyone. I was here, had the pleasure of being here, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks ago, for an awards afternoon ceremony, which I think was a Lieutenant Governor's Lifetime Achievement Award, which will be given away later today. And I had so much fun. It was such an enjoyable time getting to know some people here and actually reconnecting with someone that I haven't seen for 25 years, that I was told that it's the first reference to McDonald's ever given in a speech, because we worked at McDonald's together when we were 16 years old, and that's a long time ago for me. So, yeah, it's just a real privilege to be here tonight. And I do have some official greetings on behalf of the Minister of Parks, Culture, and Sports, so I will get to those. I do appreciate the land acknowledgement done earlier. It is very important that we do pay respects and honor the reconciliation for the traditional territories that we are on. So thank you for having me here today on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Minister of Parks, Culture, and Sport, Laura Ross, and the Government of Saskatchewan. Tonight we are here to celebrate Saskatchewan artists and their amazing achievements. And boy, I really love what was said just a little bit ago here. I've never really considered myself an artist. I built cars for many years, and it is kind of a different form of art. But some of the things that I have witnessed this summer as being Legislative Secretary for Parks, Culture, and Sport have just been nothing short of amazing. So I just absolutely love the thought process that goes into different art, whether it's music, whether it's actual art, sculptures. Art comes in so many forms, and it's just so great to be a part of it. This is something that has absolutely blown my mind, and it was mentioned earlier by Lieutenant Governor, His Honor Russ Morasti, but 1948. 1948 is when the Saskatchewan Arts Board was formed, now known as Sask Arts. The oldest, as mentioned, the oldest public art funder in North America and second oldest in the world. And I would like to recognize Saskatchewan Arts Board, including the Board of Directors and the Arts Board staff. Let's please give them another round of applause. Just truly amazing and wonderful story, and again, just happy to be part of it. This is an organization that supports development of a distinct Saskatchewan voice in all art forms and creates opportunities for all residents to participate in the arts. Thank you for organizing another great event to recognize these wonderful artists and for all you do throughout the year, because there is so much that goes on behind the scenes, as was mentioned, to put this all together. And I'm absolutely honored to join tonight and recognize the contributions of the arts community and realize the importance of art and the direct connection to our quality of life in this province. The government of Saskatchewan is committed to strong and continued support through the Arts Board, Creative Saskatchewan, and through Sask Culture and partnership with Saskatchewan Lotteries. And many things have gone on in this last couple of years, and our minister, Laura Ross, is absolutely dedicated to the arts, and I'm sure that you're starting to be well aware with some of the recent announcements. This support is shown tonight by the sponsorship of the Artistic Excellence Award through the Ministry of Parks, Culture, and Sport. The Artistic Excellence Award is presented to an established artist who is at mid-career, who is making a sustained and progressive contribution to the art form, and who has now attained critical recognition regionally and nationally. And I believe we're going to cue a video at this point.
Leah Marie Dorian is an interdisciplinary Métis artist raised in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. She sees her Métis heritage as something that provides a unique bridge between herself and all people, and this influences her work as an artist and academic. Her paintings honor the spiritual strength of Aboriginal women and the sacred feminine, reflecting her belief that women are the first teachers of the next generation, playing a key role in passing on vital knowledge for all humanity. She also works with documentary film and has published children's books and academic papers for the Royal Commission of Aboriginal Peoples. Leah also participated as resident artist at the Man Art Gallery Métis Art Program. June Jacobs is a fiber artist, gallery owner, curator, educator, and arts organization member who's been active in the art scene in Saskatchewan for more than 40 years. June's work incorporates animal and plant fibers with natural and contemporary dye techniques, constructed through a range of mediums including applique, quilting, machine sewing, and embroidery, as well as felting, which forms the basis of most of her work. Her style is influenced by harsh, severe prairie landscape, which resonates in her forms, color palette, and surface treatments. June's work grapples with the complexities and nuances of social and political issues, including environmental degradation, climate change, and human rights issues. Marcia Kennedy is an artist and mentor who spent most of her life in Regina. She received a BFA from the University of Regina in 1977 and an MFA from York University in 1981. Marcia's work has been recognized provincially and nationally for its compelling feminist and environmental content, as well as its artistic excellence. In addition to cultivating her own body of work and honing her arts practice, Marcia has been a mentor and teacher to many new and emerging artists, working as an instructor at the University of Regina for 25 years and participating in the CARFAC Artistic Mentorship Program since 2006.
I want to commend all the nominees for your creative and artistic excellence. So congratulations to all our nominees. Here's something I've always wanted to say and didn't realize I'd have to become a politician to say it, but the envelope, please. But I actually have the envelope, so. Oh, it's in here. Oh, look at that. And the recipient of the 2022 Artistic Excellence Award is Marcia Kennedy. And I guess Marcia is not here this evening, but congratulations, Marcia. And thank you very much. I really look forward to the rest of this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Friesen. So, because Marcia's not here, she had, just in case, sent us something to read if she's not. So I will do the honors of reading her words. I am grateful to receive this honor, and I would like to thank the Sask Arts for supporting me throughout my many years as an artist in Saskatchewan. I would also like to thank all the staff at Sask Arts for all of your hard work that has made this night possible. I would like to extend a special thank you to Jen McCrory for nominating me for this award, and to all of the galleries and curators who have made my life as an artist feel so relevant and rewarding. So she will receive one of those beautiful pieces. Okay, I feel like a teacher up here. Let me just check my notes. Stay on schedule, children. So the next speaker we'd like to bring up, I would like to welcome His Worship Mayor Charlie Clark to bring greetings on behalf of the city of Saskatoon. It's nice to see you, Charlie.
Thank you so much, MC Lindsay. Maybe one day you could do a hip-hop MC of an arts award, you know, bring both those two roles together. It's great to see you out here, and Tansei, everyone, Your Honor, and Donna, my teacher. I'm very happy to hear His Honor's been teaching me Krieg. He teaches me Niwagamagantik ni totemtik. I don't know if you heard him say that, but I've been listening to his speaking, and thank you. What that means is my friends and my relatives. And it's not very often we call each other relatives as a mayor, you know, but I think that's a very profound teaching, you know, as we think about the treaty relationship and building a community where we live as relatives on this land to greet each other that way. And that's a teaching I'm very grateful for. And to our Kataic Elder Henneke, thank you so much for also bringing us your greetings today as well. And to Marv Friesen, great job. First time to give out an award today, and it's nice to see you here, and as at many events in the community. To Sask Arts Board Chair Jason Abig, thanks for your leadership and your work in so many ways in our community. And to all the staff and board members of the Sask Arts Board, or Sask Arts, for all the work you've done to bring this event together and to continue to support the arts. I'm very glad to join with all of you here on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional homeland of the Métis, along with my wife Sarah, who's with us tonight, and it's always a treat when she can come out and be part of this. And yeah, you should have seen the work that went into getting her out the door, getting food into kids and picking them up from sports and figuring out what to wear and everything like that after a busy day. Now she's embarrassed, but it's kind of a crazy life. So I also especially want to say to all of the artists here that I am so grateful for the courage that you have to follow your calling, to hold a mirror up to our community, to our society, to help us understand who we are and the times that we live in, to provide pathways for us to understand, interpret, and especially unearth the feelings that we feel as human beings in these turbulent times. Because I know that following the calling of an artist is not easy or comfortable. Writing grant after grant, trying to figure out the balance between being marketable and being true to the expressions that you know that you were meant to make. Your theater, your sculpture, your paintings, your drawings, your textiles, your beadwork, your films, your poems, your books, your songs, your stories give our communities and our province our soul. And tonight is a chance to celebrate the beautiful soul that we have here in Saskatchewan. And all of you who are being recognized tonight have helped to breathe life into that soul. And so I really want to recognize and celebrate all of you who have been nominated and awarded. And I know that Jeremy Morgan has already been named as an award winner for the Lifetime Achievement Award, and Dave Margocious, who is also being recognized tonight. And I know you've made incredible contributions to our province. And I also want to recognize the patrons and the supporters of the arts and the organizations that support the arts. And just to quickly shout out Miss Ellen Ramey, who announced just last week an incredible additional contribution to the Ramey Modern, to make sure that the Ramey Modern is accessible for the next 30 years to everyone. And also this building, as we know, and also to Henry Kloppenberg, who passed away just this last month, and who, along with Cheryl Kloppenberg, has been supporting the Henry and Cheryl Kloppenberg Literary Awards for so long in our community, to keep writing alive. And to everybody who buys tickets, who buys books, who buys albums, who buys artwork, you're all patrons. Everybody who goes out and supports the arts. And if you invite artists over for supper to give them a meal and help them feel welcome, you're a patron. So all of that comes together. Let's keep the arts thriving in our city, thriving in our province. We need them now more than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That's such a beautiful way to describe how the arts are the soul of our communities. That's beautiful. And I will take you up on that dinner. Sarah, just let me know when and we'll be there. All right. So we're going to get into something a little different. We, of course, can't have an arts award without some performances by artists. So I'm really excited to present to you the first performer who happens to have one of the coolest names ever, Lindsay. Lindsay Harpham is a dancer. She's originally from Tisdale, and she's a performance artist, choreographer, educator, and adjudicator. Following her studies at Harbour Dance Center and the Contour Academy, she has since performed with companies such as Red Sky Performance out of Toronto, Lars Show, Dance Project, Gadfly, Ace Dance Theater, Nickelodeon, and the Ramey Modern. Grateful to have experienced professional tours throughout Canada, the United States, Europe, and Australia, she searches for opportunities that feel comparably inspiring. Lindsay prioritizes, it feels so weird to say my own name, Lindsay prioritizes bringing education and opportunities back to her home province of Saskatchewan and aims to aid in developing strong and artistic athletes who feel they can contribute and grow our local dance community. We had some chats in the green room, and I can feel her. She's got a very strong spirit and drive to work in Saskatchewan and to bring dance, to really put dance on the world stage and stay in Saskatchewan doing that. So very awesome. So everybody, please give a warm welcome for Lindsay Hartman. Wow, that was so moving. Miasin in our language, that means beautiful. Thank you, Lindsay. Next up, I would like to welcome our Sask Arts Chair, Jason Abig, to present the Arts and Learning Award. Sask Arts is the sponsor of this award.
Thank you, Lindsay. You're doing a great job. Thanks for emceeing tonight. And Your Honors, thank you for being here again this year. It's always a privilege to have you. Mayor Clark and Sarah, thank you for coming tonight too. In spite of everything that you had going on, I also, of everything Mayor Clark said tonight, which was very, very well done and excellent. I loved the comment around just getting food in kids' faces as one of the things that had to become. We all live and breathe that world. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Elder Ahenekyu, thank you for the prayer tonight. That was beautiful and a great way to start us off tonight. So thank you for that. And to all of you, it's great to see you. It's so great. We only get to do this once a year. And when we do, it really is a time to celebrate and honor and recognize you. It's my privilege on behalf of the board to bring greetings on behalf of Sask Arts, of course, and to do so as my final term as chair of the Sask Arts Board comes to a close. It's been 4 tremendous years, and in that time, I can tell you I have developed an even deeper appreciation and affection for what the Sask Arts Board does, and of course, what you all do. In that time, I think we've worked very, very hard to try and build an agency that is resilient and worthy of you and the work that you do. And so I leave with a heavy heart, but I'm very encouraged that we are leaving, at least I'm leaving the organization in a very good spot. And I will take credit for one thing, just one. As you know, when you're chair of a board, you don't really do anything. But I will take credit for one thing. It was a special request of mine that we look at some sort of name change. And the reason for that was I was getting very tired of introducing myself as chair of the Saskatchewan Arts Board. And people would look at the Arts Board, and they would look at me like I was having, some sort of issue, and I'm like, no, I'm chair of the Saskatchewan Arts Board. And finally, I had enough, and I said to Michael, okay, we have got to figure this out. This isn't working for anybody, least of all the poor saps who've got to sit on the Saskatchewan Arts Board and introduce themselves to people. So we are now Sask Arts, and I will take full credit for that name change forever. And that is my legacy, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're welcome. Sask Arts Board. All right. So as MLA Marv Friesen said, and thank you, by the way, MLA Marv, for being here tonight. This Arts Board was established in 1948. It was the first public arts funder in North America, second only to the world's very first one with the Arts Council of Great Britain. As many of you know, we provide grants and programs and services to those whose activities have an impact on the arts in our province and ensure that opportunities exist for Saskatchewan residents to experience all art in all its forms. We could not provide this level of service to the public without ongoing funding from the Government of Saskatchewan and partners such as SaskCulture and Sask Lotteries. We placed great emphasis on celebrating the arts, and one of the ways we do that is through the Saskatchewan Arts Awards. This event really is an opportunity to showcase and celebrate the vibrant arts community and those who contribute so much to it. As we approach our 75th anniversary in 2023, we're eager to continue to recognize and promote and support the arts and arts organizations and artists that make our community such great places to live, work, learn, and play. In the lobby this evening, you'll see a display of several literary works by Dave Margoshes, the 2022 Lieutenant Governor's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Dave's work is testament to his passion and dedication to the arts community, not only here in Saskatchewan, but also on the provincial and national stage. Sask Arts is very proud is very proud to sponsor the Arts and Learning Award. Encouraging artistic engagement among professional artists, students, and the community is an important part of our mission to provide funding and support to the arts for the benefit of all people in Saskatchewan. The Arts and Learning Award is presented to an arts educator who has demonstrated outstanding commitment to the arts in education and society through innovative approaches to the engagement of learners in the exploration of contemporary artistic ideas or creative experiences. Let's watch the video.
Michelle Grodecki is an educator, advocate, and mother from Regina. An intensive needs teacher and proud mother to a deaf son, Michelle is passionate about raising awareness about deaf issues and ensuring that every child in Saskatchewan has meaningful access to language. She founded the Saskatchewan Parents of Deaf and Hard of Hearing Children Support Group after her son's hearing loss was identified. This group gives parents a chance to connect with each other and develop an understanding of the challenges their children may face. She is currently the Vice President of the Saskatchewan Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services Board of Directors. Sharon Gooderite is a lifelong educator, singer-songwriter, pianist, recording artist, and proud mother from Regina. Sharon sees music as a powerful tool for helping children build language skills, creativity, memory, and an understanding of patterns. But more importantly, music is a tool for building self and social skills, creating happiness, forging friendships, and building pride. And Sharon is currently working on a children's album, with the first single to be released this fall. As a kindergarten teacher, Sharon brings music and the arts into everything she does, from teaching the days of the week to teaching science, math, and social studies, infusing the classroom experience with a sense of creativity and fun. Dean McNeil is a Downbeat Magazine award-winning trumpet player and composer who's currently serving his second term as head of the University of Saskatchewan Department of Music. He's been awarded the department's Dwayne Nelson Award for Teaching, the University of Saskatchewan Students' Union Teaching Excellence Award, and the Saskatchewan Jazz Festival's Special Recognition Award. Dean's recordings have been critically acclaimed, and he's performed both classical and jazz repertoire on CBC National Radio and across Western Canada. Dean has been the musical director of the Texas Lone Star Film Awards, both the Edmonton Jazz Society's and Saskatoon Jazz Society's JazzWorks music workshops, and the Saskatchewan Jazz Festival's intensive summer camps. He performed as a member of the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra for over 20 years, and he's the founding artistic director of the Saskatoon Jazz Orchestra.
And the award goes to Michelle Grodecki.
Wow. So I guess first I would like to thank Sask Arts for hosting this amazing evening and congratulate all of this evening's nominees. Wow, this award is a tremendous honor for me. I want to thank Saskatchewan's deaf community for welcoming me and my family and trusting and agreeing to do the most craziest of my ideas. Also a huge thank you to Christine Els, Joanne Weber, and Allard Thomas for your unwavering support and encouragement. None of the work I've done would have been possible without Sask Arts and the Saskatchewan arts community, who have been instrumental in supporting deaf and hard of hearing audiences and artists. The arts community listened to the deaf community when it seemed like no one else was. And thanks to this community, several local theaters and the Rider Games have ASL interpretation. And they look for ways to make the arts more accessible to deaf audiences. Art touches everyone. Art finds deaf and hard of hearing children in their isolation and brings them into a welcoming community filled with opportunities for expression and belonging. There is so much more work to do, but I am so confident with Sask Arts and with the arts community behind us, Saskatchewan's deaf and hard of hearing youth have nowhere to go but up. Thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you again, Chair Jason Abig, and also congratulations. I just think, just watching those videos, I think the videos are amazing in themselves. I'm not sure who put those together, but I'll find out the name. Yeah, they're really nice, and they really, they do so well to show us how much talent there is and how challenging it would be to adjudicate. And so all of the nominees and the winners, the recipients, amazing job, just amazing work in our communities. Let me just get my place here. Okay. Please hold. Find a way to entertain yourselves for a couple minutes. Just kidding. All right, so please welcome Nolan Tabashniak, the RBC Mortgage Specialist. Thanks to RBC sponsorship, all shortlisted nominees in this category will receive a cash prize, which is awesome. Nolan.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. For those of you who are here a month ago when we had the opportunity to announce the shortlisted candidates, you would have seen Lindsay as equal. And I was so impressed, Lindsay, I can't see you, but I was so impressed. I went home and I showed my boys, I was like, you guys, I was at a performance and she's a rapper and she was unreal. And I found you on YouTube and I showed some clips. And to quote my 15-year-old, she's fire, bro. True story. There you go. The last time I got on stage in front of a microphone, I think I was 20, and I had a bass guitar slung on me, and I was in the worst punk ska band you could possibly ever. It was so bad that I became a banker. True story. Another true story. I'll go on too long if I don't stick to my script, so I'll honor my colleagues from RBC who are also here with me tonight, because they're all like, he needs to get off the stage right now. RBC recognizes the struggle many artists go through to gain the recognition they need to become successful in their practice. Since 2007, the RBC Emerging Artists has been supporting organizations that provide the best opportunity to advance an artist's career trajectory in genres such as visual arts, music, theater, dance, literature, and film. Every year, we donate millions of dollars to hundreds of arts organizations globally to help emerging artists become established through training, networks, and providing exposure to new and diverse audiences. RBC is proud to support the RBC Emerging Artist Award. This award is presented to an artist who demonstrates exceptional promise through notable accomplishments and has attained critical recognition for their body of work. Let's watch the video.
Peace Akintade is a Saskatoon-based African-Canadian interdisciplinary poet, public speaker, and chorus poem playwright. She was Saskatoon's Youth Slam champion from 2017 to 2019, Saskatchewan's Youth Poet Laureate from 2020 to 2021, and Reed Saskatoon Poet Laureate in 2022. Her dedication to the written and spoken word manifests in her community work, which includes her role as workshop facilitator with Commonweal and Grand Theatre, and her work with the Youth Speakers Bureau for the Office of the Treaty Commissioner. Her goals are to make poetry accessible for youth in communities across Saskatchewan and to highlight the inauthenticity of the English language when spoken from a Vodou tongue. Xiao Han is an artist and curator born in Wuhan, China, and currently living in Saskatoon. Han's art encompasses many mediums, including photography, film, and social practice, focusing on visualizing emotion, affect sense, and community engagement. As an independent curator, Han has organized and facilitated exhibitions and art projects with a community context, working collaboratively with artists and art institutions in Canada and China. Her research explores themes of diaspora identity, cross-cultural interpretation, and decolonial practice. Han's latest project, Mixing Rice, was undertaken in the Riverside Business Improvement District with a curatorial objective of linking the local Asian and artist communities in Saskatoon through a visual arts exhibition. Dakota Ray Hebert is a Dene actor, comedian, writer, and entertainer who grew up in Meadow Lake. An accomplished theater actor and comedian, she has performed across Canada, the United States, La Pinita, Mexico, and as far away as Shenzhen, China. She performed her stand-up routine on CBC's Comedy Night with Rick Mercer and recorded her debut comedy album in 2022. Earlier this year, Dakota won the Best Actress Award at the American Indian Film Festival for her starring role in Run, Woman, Run. Dakota is also the co-host of Crazy Like a Lynx, an APTN series that highlights the accomplishments of Indigenous businesses across Canada.
Congratulations to all of tonight's nominees. And the recipient of the 2022 RBC Emerging Artist Award is Peace Akintade.
Wow. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for the nomination and also for the award. Thank you, Sask Arts. I also want to thank Alyssa and Wendy, who nominated me from Dunlop Art Gallery in Regina. I really thank them. They're not here because they got stuck in the storm. But I wish them all the luck and all their love. I also want to thank my family, my mom and my sister and my brother who is playing video games at home. I want to thank them for their support because, you know, without them, if it wasn't my mom driving every day for me to go to poetry shows and workshops and open mics 7 years ago, I wouldn't be standing here. Even though I know I don't have that much time, I love stories, so I'm going to tell a story. I remember about 2 months ago when I got the announcement for the nomination. And I went to an event where I was supposed to be public speaking, and one person, in just passing out of curiosity, came up to me and asked, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to be part of this." I almost thought to myself, why are you here? And it was just curiosity, very passing, you know, it's asking of, how are you? Why are you here? You know, but it stuck to me, and I don't know why that phrase just stuck to me. I kept asking, why am I here? Why am I doing poetry? Why am I doing art? Come on, it's getting on to 8 years. Shouldn't you move on to something else? I don't know, shouldn't you start becoming a banker? But I remember I was driving to Indian Head to do one of the workshops with Common Wheel, and it was my partner, Kevin Westcosquet. And he was sitting right next to me. And, we stopped the car, and he said, "You gotta come out. You gotta come out. We gotta look at the stars." And I was like, we just drove for 4 hours. And he was like, "No, we're looking at the stars, off the tip. We're looking at the stars." And I'm looking at the stars, and I see how vast it is. And as cliche as it was, I got that answer of why am I here? Just because. Just because. And I think this award today is not an award to me, it's an award to poetry. It's an award to poetry being accessible to people that look like me, that talk like me, that walk like me. And it's showing that African art and African storytelling has a place that just can be, that can just exist. And oh God, I just want youth to exist in Saskatoon. So thank you so much for the award. Thank you.
Wow, so awesome piece. I've had a chance to work with the piece in smaller settings. I do a little spoken word on the side, but not to that capacity. They do really amazing work. But one of the things we do in spoken word is when we're appreciating something that someone says or a really good piece, we do does everybody know this already? Maybe, but it's kind of one of those spoken word things. So now you can leave knowing that, right? You just learned something. So, just because, that's something that we can really, that really resonates with us as artists. And I think that art, because it's so fluid and so creative and boundless, it sometimes gets overlooked or questioned. But in reality, we're all existing in art. Everything that is around us is art. Even bankers are artists, right? You're money artists. So, we want to, of course, once again acknowledge peace. Just one more round of applause and some snapping fingers. All right. And now we have the next performer, who is a drag performer named Iona Whip. I was just waiting to say that. As you might know, the concept of drag began in the age of Shakespearean theater during the late 16th century. And at that time, the church was heavily connected to stage and only allowed men to perform. So it was that any female roles were played by men and were cast dressed as women. So some of the first publicly known drag balls were in Harlem in the 1920s in the Rockland Palace. These shows featured extravagant performances of individuals impersonating noteworthy and famous people, often competing against one another in fashion shows. Iona Whip is no stranger to the stage. An accomplished performer, Iona's career is widespan and includes appearances on RuPaul's Drag Race. Has anyone seen? Yeah. And most recently, she took the role of Roz in 9 to 5, the musical in Saskatoon Summer Players here in this very theater. Please welcome, everybody, Iona Whip.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There are worse things I could do than go with a boy or 2 or 7, even though the neighborhood thinks I'm trashy, which I am and no good. I suppose it could be true, but there are worse things I could do. I could flirt with all the guys, which I always do. Smile at them and bat my eyes. That's a trademark move. Press against them when we dance. Make them think they stand a chance. And then I usually follow through. That's a thing I always do. I could stay home every night with my husband watching Netflix. wait around for Mr. Right. I'm on my second marriage and I still quite haven't figured it out. Take cold showers every day and throw my life away on a dream that won't come true, like actually being cast on RuPaul's Drag Race. I could hurt someone like me, amazingly talented and gorgeous, out of spite or jealousy. I don't steal and I don't lie, but I can feel and I can cry, a thing I can even do on cue. But to cry in front of you, as an actor, that's a thing I get paid to do. Oh,
Wow, wow, wow. I was just getting warmed up. Let's get another one. I own a whip, everybody. One more round of applause. The process of reviewing nominees for this program is a difficult job, as you can tell. Given the number of outstanding artists, arts organizations, supporters in this province, the review panel has its challenge, and so we want to acknowledge those who reviewed the awards this year. We have Michelle Boutin, Melissa Morgan, Heather Morrison, and Tara Dawn Solheim. So let's give them a round of applause, because I don't know about you, but I don't know if I'd want to be in that position. Just like, give everybody the money. So Tara Dawn, would you like to come up and say a few words? Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Lindsay. As you mentioned, it was a very difficult decision and a difficult role to play. And thank you, Iona Whip, for your incredible performance. What a pleasure. Let's have another round of applause. So I'd like to say good evening, artists, friends, Sask Arts representatives, and everyone present here tonight. My name is Tara Dawn Solheim, and I'm grateful to live as a guest on Treaty 4 territory, a beautiful land which inspires me to create. It's a pleasure to join you here on Treaty 6 territory. Thank you to Sask Arts for hosting these awards. It's an honor to be here with all of you this evening and to bring greetings on behalf of the review panel. I would like to thank my fellow panelists for their dedication, attention to detail, and the lively discussions that we shared. What an amazing opportunity to witness the diversity of art that exists in this territory, and what a difficult role to play. We would like to congratulate all the nominees. Each and every one of you is a dedicated artist who persevered towards their passion throughout the challenges of the past few years and continued to make art, great art. You inspire us. Being on this panel provided a unique experience to open many magical doors to see what's inside. The range of artists and the variety of styles of creation in this province is remarkable. I had the opportunity to encounter the work of several artists I was previously unacquainted with. As well, I had the chance to revisit the work of many artists who I was already familiar with and witness the growth of their careers. You are all here, artists at a crossroads in time, an epic moment, and you are reflecting back the experience of your life through art in essential and powerful ways. Thank you for your dedication to your craft. Thank you for expressing, and thank you for continuing. No matter who is chosen for the awards tonight, know that each of you are an essential part of the arts community in Saskatchewan. We wouldn't be here to celebrate without you. Congratulations to all, and enjoy your night.
I actually forgot to mention, happy Diwali, everybody. Today's the day. There's actually one of the SK Arts employees, Joytan Shukla, is celebrating Diwali today. So it's a beautiful, beautiful time to celebrate. There's a lot of celebration happening today. So for our next award, please welcome Josh Crittenden, Senior Portfolio Manager with Jaroslawski Fraser Global Investment Management, to present the Leadership Individual Award. This award is presented in partnership with the Jaroslawski Fraser Partner Foundation, and I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. So, welcome, Josh.
Thank you, Tara, for getting up here after that incredible performance, because I was scrambling as to how I was going to follow that act, because I don't own a whip. My apologies for bringing the snow from Calgary as well. We could see it flying into Saskatoon today, just a white cloud as we flew in. But as his honor said, it's great to be back, in person, enjoying such an event after a few years of, not being allowed that privilege. So great to be back. And when Lindsay asked, as much as I appreciate art, when Lindsay asked everyone to raise their hand who's an artist in the room, I just simply couldn't do it, because I had the voice of my 5-year-old son in my head telling me that he can draw a stick person better than I can, and that's the honest truth. But the great thing about art is that there's artists and there's folks that appreciate art, and I think as someone that appreciates art, it's all about perspective, and I think from that perspective, we're all on sort of equal ground in that regard. So I feel good about being an appreciative audience for art in all its forms. It is my privilege and my honor to be joining you here all today on behalf of Jaroslawski Fraser Limited. This is our 5th year of supporting the Saskatchewan Arts Awards, and this year we are very pleased to again be presenting the Leadership Individual Award. Jaroslawski Fraser is one of Canada's leading investment counseling firms, managing assets for clients across North America and around the world, and we are pleased to support the communities where we live and work. We really feel that a thriving arts community, whether it be performance or physical art, forms part of the bedrock upon which great cities and communities are built. As Sask Arts approaches its 75th anniversary in 2023, we are pleased to be in partnership with a strong leader in the arts community of Saskatchewan. This award is presented to an individual who demonstrates outstanding leadership in the arts through exemplary management, distribution, marketing, production, research, collection, or curatorial practice. Let's watch the video.
Roxanne Dick is a director, actor, and theater educator residing on Treaty 6 territory. With a deep interest in governance and policy as instruments for social change, she is the vice chair of the board of the Saskatchewan Association of Theatre Professionals and is general manager of the E.A. Rawlinson Centre for the Arts in Prince Albert. As an educator, Roxanne has worked with First Nations University, University of Saskatchewan, SUNTEP, and the University of Regina. She develops programming and teaches drama for youth programs across the province, and has also worked as an instructor and mentor in Alberta and Kingston, Jamaica. Tracy Foster is a trauma-informed disability artist, theater maker, director, somatic educator, and voice and acting coach. Tracy is the founder and artistic director of Listen to This community arts organization and has worked with the company for 16 years, developing a portfolio of multidisciplinary creative projects. She's been involved in the nurturance and development of new and emerging artists for years through Saskatchewan Youth Ballet, Globe Theatre, Conservatory of Performing Arts, University of Regina, New Dance Horizons, and Create. Tracy was also the recipient of the 2015 YWCA's Woman of Distinction Jackie Schumacher Arts Award. Troy Gronsdahl is a multidisciplinary artist and curator from Saskatoon. He studied at the University of Saskatchewan and received a master's degree from Emily Carr University of Art and Design. Troy's work encompasses a broad array of mediums, including photography, video, text-based projects, music, and performance. His artwork has been presented at screenings and exhibitions across Canada. In addition to his visual art practice, Troy also creates a distinctive, genre-bending style of hip-hop under the moniker So-So and has toured nationally and internationally. He's applied his leadership and expertise as board chair of Black Flash magazine, and for 5 years, he was a stabilizing force, leading the organization through a challenging process of renewal. In all of his various roles, Gronsdahl has forged partnerships with local organizations and arts initiatives to coordinate efforts, maximize resources, and leverage areas of mutual strength.
The recipient of the 2022 Leadership Individual Award is Troy Gronsdahl.
Like anyone who's a leader of an arts organization, when you're asked to attend an event like that, like this, you might just Google how to do an acceptance speech. I'm very honored to accept this award, and I'd like to thank Sask Arts and the selection committee for this acknowledgement. And congratulations to Roxanne and Tracy and all the nominees tonight. Thanks to my wonderful, talented, and brilliant colleague, Leah Taylor. I can't thank you enough. Leah is the curator at University of Saskatchewan Art Galleries and prepared the nomination. And I'd like to thank the many people who provided words of support. Each of you is distinguished and so deserving of recognition for the work you do to advance arts in the province. In addition to my background as an artist and musician, I've had the opportunity to work in many capacities in the Saskatoon arts community, from project spaces to artist runs to institutions to my current role as curator of performance and public practice at Ramey Modern. I've learned a lot, and I'd like to thank my peers and coworkers and colleagues for their mentorship, collaboration, and friendship. Thanks to my partner, Carly, my family and friends, you sustain me. Also, beer and chicken wings. I recently wrapped up a 5-year term as board chair of Black Flash magazine, which is a contemporary arts magazine based here in Saskatchewan, now in their 40th year of publication. By all accounts, this is a small organization with only one full-time employee. And I'd like to acknowledge Travis Cole and Maxine Proctor, the former and current managing editors, for their skill and stubborn commitment, which is truly inspiring. And though small in stature, the magazine is expansive, supported by a volunteer board of directors, to whom I am also grateful, an advisory committee, an editorial committee, our community partners, the artists, writers, designers. The work radiates outwards from this unassuming little office in Saskatoon to reach readership across Canada and really beyond our borders. It's totally implausible. And this is exactly how it works in organizations and collectives all across the province. This interconnected system of artists and audiences, practitioners and professionals, writers, musicians, educators, volunteers, collectives, organizations, institutions, and funding bodies create this teeming life force that supports and sustains art. If the arts is indeed an ecosystem, I might liken it to the prairie grasslands. It is one of spare beauty, untold complexity, and incredible resilience, able to withstand extreme temperatures, winds, droughts, even fire. We also know the ecosystem is vulnerable, and for all of us to survive and thrive here, we must never take that for granted, especially now when the world is on fire. Thanks to Sask Arts for all you do to foster and sustain the arts. Thank you again for this award. I am really honored. Thank you.
Wow, this is awesome. Little side note, I don't know Troy. I know So-So, who's a hip hop artist. We've been both doing this hip hop career for so long, and I've always known So-So as So-So. So another thing that made me think of Saskatchewan artists is how humble we are. You know, how humble. I've been called the most humblest artist ever. No, just kidding. No, nobody said that to me. But So-So, Troy, I'm absolutely amazed at all of the work and the great work that he's done, you know, within the community. Because when I run into him at shows or whatever, he's just like, hey, what's up? Sup. But then, wow, right? So all of the nominees and Troy, just another round of applause. Amazing leadership. All right. So, wow, we're moving fast. I better speak a little slower. Just kidding. Please welcome Rowena Matern, member of the Board of Directors of SaskCulture, to present the Leadership Organization Award, sponsored by SaskCulture.
Good evening, everyone. What an absolute treat to be here with you tonight. And I think this is a little bit of an unusual evening for me because usually when I'm at a gathering, I don't meet so many people with roots from La Ronge. But you know what? Tonight there's a couple here. I grew up in La Ronge. And His Honor, the Lieutenant Governor is from La Ronge as well. So, and one of my good friends since grade 1, Peggy, is here with me tonight as my date. And I was thinking about La Ronge. And I was remembering, actually, I was returning home from an international flight from Asia. And you know how when you kind of sit and chat with the person sitting next to you. So I was sitting next to this lady, traveling with her family. And, you know, we said, where are you from? Canada? Me too. Where in Canada? Saskatchewan? Me too. Where in Saskatchewan? Oh, you don't know, it's somewhere in the north. Well, let me know because I'm from the north. La Ronge, me too. So I said, who do you know in La Ronge? Well, you know, do you know Louise Weens? I know her, she was my music teacher. Me too. So with that, you know, I think that people who invest in youth, in music and arts, they carry it with them all over the world. And I think Saskatchewan is representing well, proudly, humbly, and beautifully in many nations around the world. And so I was thinking also about this quote from a poet philosopher, Goethe, that is really special to me, and I'll paraphrase it. He says, "Give me a task that I can do with skill and devotion, and it no longer becomes work, but art and an expression of love. So like Peace said, just be. And when you're that person, whether you're a banker or a board of director chair or something like that, wherever you are, that you can fulfill that role with devotion and skill. It is an expression of art and your love to others and to the world. So with that, SaskCulture is pleased to be a sponsor of the Saskatchewan Arts Awards. As the manager of the culture section of the Sask Lotteries Trust Fund, we are committed to supporting events such as this that recognize the contributions of Saskatchewan artists, leaders, and organizations. The Leadership Organization Award recognizes and celebrates an organization engaged in the arts in Saskatchewan that demonstrates outstanding leadership and commitment to the advancement, presentation, and promotion of the arts and artists through exemplary programming, governance, operations, administration, and/or innovation. Let's watch the video.
Choke Cherry Studios is a youth-founded nonprofit that offers art-based programming and mentorship to young and emerging artists in inner-city Saskatoon. Located on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis, Choke Cherry Studios' work is informed by the principles of anti-racism, anti-oppression, harm reduction, and strengths-based approaches. They work collaboratively with Choke Cherry youth to co-create projects and platforms that elevate lived experience through art, storytelling, community engagement, and youth-led advocacy. Choke Cherry Studios' work in the community is driven by their values, which are rooted in justice, partnership, and meaningful youth leadership. Listen to Dis is Saskatchewan's first and only disability-led arts organization. Distilled to its essence, the organization's mission and mandate is Arts, Access, Agency. Through inclusive art practices, performance, and facilitated dialogue, Listen to Dis weaves new realities for its members and for the broader community, shifting people's perceptions of disability and creating understanding and appreciation for crip art, mad art, deaf art, and disability culture. Through art, advocacy, and education, they build communities of open access in which disabled people can at last claim agency over their lives and bring their fullest expression into the world. The Saskatchewan Writers Guild is a not-for-profit provincial cultural organization that has been representing writers in all disciplines and at all levels of achievement since 1969. The Writers Guild supports writers and nurtures excellence in writing while promoting public awareness of the written word in Saskatchewan. The Writers Guild also serves as an advocacy organization to improve the status of Saskatchewan writers by providing educational opportunities to writers of all ages and at every stage of their career, and by improving public access to Saskatchewan writers and their work. Membership is inclusive and open to all writers and those interested in Saskatchewan writing.
Congratulations to the nominees, and the award goes to Listen to Dis.
Oh no, you're all gonna meet my not so well-behaved service dog. Lita, can you sit, please? Sit. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Shelby and I and John talked just before we got out here into the auditorium and realized that nobody had prepared anything to say. And part of the reason for that is because we keep ourselves fairly busy running the organization and keeping ourselves afloat. Excuse me. I'd really like to thank the Sask Arts, not the Sask Arts, Sask Arts for working with us and persevering while we work diligently to change Saskatchewan's outlook on disability and crip art. It's been a wonderful journey in many ways. And it has been a very onerous and tiresome journey, partially because we don't understand yet what it means to be disabled and want to be, choose to be, need to be an artist. And together with many who aren't here tonight, but, well, 4 of us who are here from the organization, we can attest to the fact that in the 15 years since I began to disclose publicly that I was disabled and interested in making art called crip art or disabled art, to today, we have fallen down a lot, but we have fallen together. And in that, we have gotten to a place where it feels to us as a group, as an interdependent group, that
She's just so excited.
I know she is. I know she is. First time on stage. It feels like we understand that the seed has been planted, and it is not only us that are beginning to nurture that and fertilize that. And I'm not only asking you, but I'm begging you to pay attention to what it means for crip artists and deaf artists and artists from non-dominant cultures. Pay attention to the work that happens outside of the art in order to make the art that we make. She'll probably start singing with you. Finally, I'm going to see if Shelby or John will, has anything to say. But thank you very much, and congratulations to all of the nominees and everybody in here for being here and celebrating the arts tonight.
I'm not usually one for public speaking, but I just wanted to say, usually when we speak about our funders, we say, without you, there is no us, but I would also like to add that without our artists and the artists that we work with, and or anyone who takes in the art and the workshops that we program, also without them, there is no us as well. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
And I'm usually known as the long-winded one, but I won't be tonight, I promise. You know, as a disability-led disability arts organization, the only one known as that, purely that, in Saskatchewan, and with a number of partners and artists that we work with, including folks in the crowd, including the Deaf Crows. Yeah. You know, a disability-led disability arts organization doesn't get to this stage without support. And that can include, as we said earlier, the financial support. It can include the person that nominated us for this award. Grum's a wonderful theater artist in our community. And it also doesn't happen without a lot of sustained work from people who don't always get the accolades. It's often in disability communities that the white, ambulatory, disabled folks get the mic, and that has proven true again tonight. But we want to acknowledge that this work, as we conceive of it as a disability-led arts organization, is intersectional and is willing to put forward that there is still privilege within the disability community, even if it may not be viewed that way from those outside, and that we have to be mindful, our audiences have to be mindful, our artists and our funders, about how all of those things come together to create a more just, a more accessible, and a more inclusive world. Thank you. Now y'all are going first. Are we going around? Okay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Get some pictures. Yeah, thank you. Once again, miasin. It's also really nice to have a more than human representative on stage too. It's not often we get to see that, and that's really important too. We're all gonna have that in our heads now, the song, the dog song. Well, we're getting close. How's everybody feeling? Yeah, it's been a really amazing night so far. And we have one more performance for you. And our final performer for the evening is Burke Joden, who is an Indigenous singer-songwriter. Burke Joden broke into the recording artist scene with his self-titled debut album in December of 2020, which is very impressive. A lot of us didn't do much art in that year, so props to you, Burke. The first single, Sisters, was met with critical acclaim, reaching the top 10 on the Indigenous Music Countdown and securing Burke with the 2021 Saskatchewan Country Music Awards Indigenous Artist Bursary, as well as 3 nominations at the 2022 SCMAs. Now residing in Leader, Saskatchewan, with his wife Jenny and his 3 children, Burke tells his stories through song. He fuses his influences like Steve Earle and Waylon Jennings together to create soulful storytelling with just the right amount of gravel. Please welcome Burke Joden.
You ever seen a prairie sunset while drinking beer in Val Marie? You can head north to that range line. You won't believe the things you'll see. Have you pulled a fish from Primrose through that cold and lonesome ice? And how that whiskey warm you? Have you feeling oh so nice? This is where you come from. This is where you belong. Now you head south past the Martineau to that cold river bridge. You listen to the ghost of the prairies softly whisper, this is it. This is where you come from. This is where you belong. Run right through you like a river, tattooed on you like a song. Have you strolled down past the Bedsboro, holding someone special's hand? They call it the Paris of the prairies, and I can totally understand. You cross that bridge over to Broadway, you hear those blues men laying it down. They take the stage every night and give you that old familiar sound. I've seen this province east to west, I felt its power north to south. I listened to the ghosts of the prairies, softly reminding me of that this is where you come from. This is where you belong. Run right through you like a river, tattooed on you like a song. 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 Thank you so much.
Wow. Thanks so much. Another round of applause. That sounded good. And now, I'm going to try not to get emotional here. I would like to welcome someone very special to the stage. Carol Grey Eyes has been an auntie of mine for many, many moons. I call her my artistic auntie. She's helped me through so much as a young artist, and just through my stages of life. She's been more than just a grantor. She's been a mentor in so many ways. She's done amazing things in our communities all across Canada and in the States. So it's a real honor to be able to introduce Carol, who is coming up to present a special award. But just a big shout out to Carol Grey Eyes, everybody. Without Carol, a lot of us wouldn't be doing what we do.
You weren't supposed to do that. Wow, I am really feeling the love tonight. Can you feel it? Oh, wow. Thank you for all of your beautiful words and your beautiful thoughts. It's in the air. Thank you all for coming. I'm very honored this evening to be able to introduce the recipient of the Sask Arts Honorary Award, Mr. Jeremy Morgan. And I'm really hoping that I'm going to get through this, but now Lindsay's got me all emotional. So there is some stuff in the program, and but I'll just mention the things that I have here. So Jeremy and his family came to Saskatchewan from Nova Scotia, from the East Coast, in 1989, and he became the general manager of the Saskatchewan Council of Cultural Organizations, the predecessor to SaskCulture. And from there, he went on to be the executive director of Wanuskewin Heritage Park. And through both of those organizations, even though he was a newcomer, he was able to build his relationships and deepen his knowledge about the province, and also really get to know the First Peoples of the Northern Plains and their culture. It was also at the park where he earned the nickname of the Great White Mystery. So be sure to ask him about what that was about. Jeremy came to Saskatchewan Arts Board, which it was known then, in 1999 as the executive director. Under Jeremy's leadership, the board was really transformed in how it operated. There were many small and large victories along the way, too numerous. I won't go into them all. But some of the major highlights were that I feel that very real and tangible progress was made in supporting our Indigenous artists. Jeremy never failed to be a champion for Indigenous arts and culture, even when it wasn't fashionable. And I just, you know, as a white man with a beard, he was able to say and do things that many of us couldn't do. Jeremy negotiated a long-term partnership with SaskCulture so that the lottery system could support programs such as festivals, the artist in residence programs, and our provincial art galleries that were then managed by Sask Arts. And even though he was the ultimate outsider, those are his words, not mine, or maybe perhaps because of it, Jeremy devoted himself heart and soul to this province, traveling all over, forming relationships. And his visionary leadership at the Arts Board helped shape new directions for the agency, making it one of the leaders in arts funding in this country. Since retiring from the Arts Board in 2010, Jeremy has never wavered in his commitment to the arts community. He served as the interim director at the Mackenzie Art Gallery, the director of galleries at the University of Saskatchewan. He has consulted and provided ongoing advice to provincial art organizations. He's volunteered as a board member to Persephone Theatre, the Reme Art Gallery, Saskatoon Open Door Society, the City of Saskatoon Public Arts Advisory Committee, and the list goes on. And even though his list of accomplishments is very long, I think that Jeremy might really appreciate me mentioning something that I think he might be most proud of this accomplishment. And it's because Jeremy understands Manatisuwin, which is a Cree word. It's the act of being respectful. When I asked Lyndon Tutusas, who was a past and is a current Sask Arts Board member, board of director, and a longtime friend of Jeremy's, for his thoughts about Jeremy, after some reflection, he said this: Jeremy had the respect of those elders he worked beside. And I can think of no better accolade than that. But if I've missed something, maybe it'll be in the video. So let's watch the video.
Jeremy Morgan has been deeply involved in the Saskatchewan arts community since coming to the province from Nova Scotia in 1989. Since his start as general manager of the Saskatchewan Council of Cultural Organizations, he has served in a number of senior cultural leadership positions and volunteer positions over the course of his career. A recipient of a number of awards, including the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal, Jeremy is particularly proud of his role in supporting Indigenous artists, the establishment of their arts organizations, and their inclusion in public funding. Since retiring in 2010 as the longest-serving executive director and CEO of the Saskatchewan Arts Board, he's maintained an active cultural consultancy.
I don't know where Jeremy is, but please welcome my former boss, mentor, and dear friend, Jeremy Morgan.
Carol, thank you, my friends, Lindsay and Carol. Excuse me. This means I get to speak a lot, I think, because you'll never hear from me again on this stage. Tanse, Tanche, Anin, Okehao, Edlanete. Salut. Hi, everyone. Congratulations to everyone who is recognized tonight. Congratulations to everyone. Elder Henneque, Your Honor, Charlie, everybody who came up on the stage bravely enough. Jason, congratulations on your service as chair of the Arts Board and many other things besides. There will be an honorary award for you, I'm sure. This is it's a great honor for me. It's an honor to have Carol present. It's an honor to have Lindsay as the MC. It's an honor to have you in this room tonight. I am exceedingly grateful to Sask Arts. I'll get to that in a minute or two, if I might. And to the many organizations and individuals, some of you are here tonight, who have allowed me to have such a privileged and rewarding career in this province. I have always appreciated the trust that organizations have placed in me and hope I have earned it. The board of SCCO, Saskatchewan Council of Culture, they brought me to this province. Talk about the ultimate outsider. I'd been here for 2 days in my lifetime, and they brought me from the East Coast. The boards of directors of the, at that time, old news now, Saskatchewan Arts Board, and Grant McConnell, who's with me tonight, and maybe others who were on the hiring committee who took that bold step. The boards of the Mackenzie Art Gallery, the Dean of the College of Arts and Science, Peter Bonham-Smith, who is here tonight at the University of Saskatchewan, but I guess most particularly the boards, elders, and staff of Wanuskewin Heritage Park. I think, to drag up an old cliche, I was supposed to communicate the cunning of the white man, beard or not, to quote some old documents. But they put their trust in me that I would work as that quintessential outsider
And it was Donnie Spidell, whom some of you know, who introduced me to a group of Korean businessmen as the Great White Mystery. I just want to make that clear. And I have held it against them ever since. But that I was willing to learn and support the wide range of cultures and communities vested in the park. I'd like to thank my frequent collaborator and dear friend when I was consulting a lot, Terry Schwam, and also my friend Elder Arnold Pelly, who some of you may know, who couldn't be here tonight, and everyone whom I've worked with professionally or in a volunteer capacity. Friends and colleagues, you're my company. Excuse me. I'm as bad as Carol Gray is, actually, and almost as bad as Equal, except I can't perform. Ultimately, to my dear family who lived with my then nomadic inclination to uproot and move thousands of miles away from a very, very different part of the country, Eleanor Cardoza, sitting. This is my terrible Portuguese, eu amo você. She knows, I think, what I'm saying. I'm not sure I do. Without you, I definitely wouldn't be here today. And our wonderful sons, Dominic and Aidan. Dominic has chosen the cowardly Vancouver option. We're very disappointed in him. And Aidan is in Regina, a victim of the bus system and the weather. But all my love to my family, to Eleanor, Dominic, and Aidan. A couple of things I want to talk about, if I might. Since we came in 1989, how this community has changed. The province has changed, the world has changed, the arts community has changed. In the case of the arts, the recognition, sometimes halting, sometimes push and pull, of the importance of the indigenous cultures of this land, in this land, the ethical space that Willie Ermine, some of you know, writes about, and the contribution that indigenous artists make to the understanding of our history and society. And you know in this room who those artists have been over the years. Some of you are here tonight. Of ourselves and the sheer impact and presence of their work. The work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or some might want to say Conciliation Commission, and the adoption of the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People are simply the beginning in this fundamental transformation of our society. And not unconnected, perhaps, are the stories of newcomers bringing to the prairies art forms derived not from Western European aesthetics and cultures, but from their own societies. And we've seen some of that happily tonight. Let's recognize and acknowledge, though fully, their presence and embrace those diverse arts practices that are rooted in other cultures than mine, for example, and help make room for them. It's so encouraging to see the awards tonight to Michelle and listen to this. This would not have happened just a few years ago. It expands our notion of what art is, who creates work, and the attention we can and should and will pay to them. Thinking globally, if there was ever a time for voices of the artists and art, it is now. And I think, to be a little sad, more than a little sad, the murders of conductor Yuri Karpatenko in Ukraine and 16-year-old Asra Panahi simply refusing to participate in propagandistic gestures, baleful distortions of what art is and should be, I think. The almost fatal attack on Salman Rushdie. We mourn the loss of so many people in all these conflicts that I guess none of us know or have known, likely. But we can also recognize and carefully celebrate their courage and their integrity and hope these nightmares will soon be over. One last piece, it's an anecdote, and I don't think he's in the audience tonight, but I won't name him because he doesn't deserve this. A conversation I had with a finance minister many years ago about the need for greater public support for the arts. Mark, you may want to take this back, I don't know. It's an older finance minister, some years before. One of many such conversations I've had over about these 30 years, which ended with the minister perhaps a little fed up. I think he was very fed up by then, saying, "But Jeremy, there's never enough money for the arts." I don't know yet whether he was recognizing a reality or was just exasperated by it as a finance minister. I think the latter, he was exasperated, up to here perhaps after hearing me for 15 minutes. But like you, I believe in the former. There is a wellspring of creativity in Saskatchewan that continues to grow and flourish, and then some. And maybe I could shift or complement Troy's great metaphor. For a province largely focused historically on non-renewable natural resources, let's continue to celebrate and advocate for one of our greatest renewables, our artists and the art they create and present. Like our other renewables, this one needs our nourishment and our care and support. It has been and continues to be, because I'm still kind of half working, wonderful to work with and support so many different artists, arts organizations, and communities in such a wide variety of disciplines and practices. And you've seen much of that tonight, I think, the tip of the iceberg. If that's a good prairie analogy, I'm not sure. But I'm struck by the breadth of artistic ambition, creativity, sense of community and commitment that characterizes the arts in Saskatchewan. It's not just our good looks. Where's equal? Hiding back there. But I know it's not unique to our province. Every part of this country is like this. But I know that something special, something unique does happen here. So I think we need to talk a lot more about this publicly. We stop hiding our artistic lights under our large bushels, perhaps. So that's it for now. Exipita mitakue awasin, all my relations. Thank you.
Hi, Jeremy. Well deserved. I won't go into much more about Jeremy. It's been explained by Carol and also by Jeremy, but just a huge influence in our Indigenous communities. I guess I would call him one of the uncles in our communities. The Great White Mystery, aka Uncle Jeremy. So hope you heard that, Jeremy. But he's usually behind the scenes, always like advocating for so many opportunities for Indigenous artists. So it's nice to see him up here. So give him one more round of applause, please. Okay. So please welcome Lieutenant Governor Russ Moracity back to the stage to announce this year's Lifetime Achievement Awards recipient.
The Lieutenant Governor's Lifetime Achievement Award is presented to an individual who has produced a substantial, prominent body of work, has had a particularly significant impact on the arts in the province, and has attained critical recognition nationally and internationally. Let's meet this year's recipient.
Dave Margocius is a Saskatoon area poet and fiction writer. He spent most of his life in Western Canada and his entire life immersed in words. Dave began his writing career as a journalist before embarking on a career writing on his own. Since then, he's published 20 books of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry, and his work has appeared in anthologies such as Best Canadian Stories, The Journey Prize, and Best Canadian Poetry. In addition to his own writing, Dave has been an editor and a teacher and mentor to other writers, teaching journalism and creative writing. He's an active member of Saskatchewan's literary community in many capacities.
please welcome to the stage David Margoshes, the recipient of the 2022 Lieutenant Governor's Lifetime Achievement Award.
If you're wondering about this stick, since I'm so good looking, I need this to chase away the girls. It's a real honor to be here, and a pleasure for me to share the stage with Jeremy Morgan, who I've known for over 30 years. And occasionally worked with in one capacity or another. I'm a little confused, you know. All day long I was thinking that I was coming here to become appointed Prime Minister of England. But this is a pretty good second best. I'm going to start with a few thank yous. First of all, my good friend Bob Curry, himself a winner of this award, who nominated me. Bob, by the way, is snowed in Moose Jaw and not here tonight, which is a disappointment for me. Then I also want to thank the 5 friends of mine who wrote letters of support. David Carpenter, Catherine Lawrence, Brendan Niskola, Judith Krause, and Steve Smith. I wouldn't be up here tonight except for you 6 really good people. I hate the expression thank you so much, but thank you so much. Thank you also to Sask Arts. I'm gradually learning to call it that after so many years of calling it SAB or SOB sometimes. And all the people at Sask Arts behind this award and this evening. Michael Jones, of course, Chip McDaniel, Yolande Kruger, and my good friend Philip Adams, who's behind the scenes pulling the strings. Finally, the ultimate everyday thank you to my partner, best friend and wife, Dee Hobsbawm Smith. Thank you for being in my life and for inspiring me every day to be the best I can be. I'm going to drop a few names, starting with W.O. Mitchell and Sinclair Ross, 2 giants of Canadian literature who just happen to have come from Saskatchewan. Next comes Anne Sumigalski, John V. Hicks, Elizabeth Brewster, Carolyn Heath, my good friend Bob Curry, most recently Guy Vanderhaeg, Ken Mitchell, and Maria Campbell. These are the writers who've won the Lieutenant Governor Lifetime Achievement Award. 10 in all, 11 now with me. And although words are my business, I can't tell you how humbling it is to find me in such good company. And that's just the writers. 40 Saskatchewan artists have won this award. Well, 41 now. Visual artists like Ernest Linder, Winona Mulcaster, Alan Sapp, Bill Epp, Joe Fafard, musicians like Howard Leighton Brown, theater people like Ken Kramer, dancers like Robin Poitras. It's a pretty select bunch in whose company I now find myself, and I'd say it's an honor, but that's a huge understatement. So a huge thank you again to Bob Curry and everyone else involved to bringing me here. And a word of advice to peace. Keep it up, and in 50 years, you could be here. Speaking of peace, she's such an inspiring young woman. My favorite young poet. I've been wondering, why me? Why have I won this award? I haven't really done that much to deserve it. So many people who are more deserving than me. But I like her philosophy of life, just because. Now, I'm a poet, and I often turn to poetry as a way of working through things. So I'm going to close by reading a poem I wrote just a few days after learning that I'd won this award. It's called A Final Bow. It borrows a line from Bob Dylan, who I'm sure won't mind. You come onto the stage from the left wing, and immediately the applause erupts, a rhythmic staccato of clapping and cheering, someone calling your name, then another and another, leading to a chant. You enter the circle, the applause still ringing in your ears, take a turn, then another, then a bow. As Dylan sang, you see your life come shining from the west down to the east. But the shine you see is not the sun, but lights, Klieg lights, spotlights, floodlights. Then gradually, one by one, they go out, and soon you are bathed in darkness, the applause still deafening. But then it too begins to diminish. First the chanting, then the cheering, and finally the clapping, one hand after another going mute. You are enveloped in silence and darkness before you take one last bow. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful. One more round of applause for Dave. What I said about Saskatchewan artists being so humble. There you go. Well, that comes very close to wrapping up our night tonight. And I want to once again congratulate all of the recipients of the awards. Give a round of applause to all of the artists who won the awards tonight. Congratulations to you. Just another thing to add on that CV. And to take it further, take it to the next level so that the next generations can continue to see you as role models and want to do the same and take art seriously just because. I also want to thank all of the shortlisted nominees for your contributions to the arts in Saskatchewan. Once again, it feels like just minuscule. You know, it's so hard to make the decisions. Everybody deserves all of the awards. Thank you to our supporters, Bradbury Brand, Plus Design Experts, Creative Display Saskatchewan, Impact Printers, Jaroslawski Fraser Partners Foundation, Ministry of Parks, Culture and Sport, RBC, Sask Arts, of course, and Sask Culture, Tourism Saskatchewan, and Veritiv. I want to say it right. Without your ongoing commitment and support, this night and these awards are not possible, so thank you so much. A couple more thank yous. Thank you, Sask Arts, for hosting the awards. It's a lot of work, and I know as being a previous employee, I've seen how the whole year is put towards making this evening a success and making it a wonderful experience for everybody. So thanks again to all of you at Sask Arts for putting in all this work. Very successful night, I think. Give them a round of applause. And also to the staff at Frank and Ellen Ramey Arts Center who helped to make this night such a success in this beautiful facility. Thank you for joining us in this celebration of arts and culture in Saskatchewan, Treaty 6 territory.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on MaxTV Local, email us at max.local@sasktel.com.